Well, hello and welcome to this first video of the lab, quantitative lab. I think this whole lab is 6 videos. We start with this one, we start in Excel, then we will move to SPSS and so on. But the very first video is the data cleaning. So we need to kind of modify a little bit the data that we collected. You have the file is the original data set. You should start working on that one. Data original, I think it's called. And let's do this cleaning. We need to make a few adjustments. And basically at the beginning, what we need to do, we will focus on this right now, is to change from letters, from words to numbers, because SPSS needs numbers, not letters. We need to change that. So follow what I do exactly what I do. Pause if you need it, go back if you need it, and we will finish with the same thing. So the first step, the first thing we need to do is to click on data and then click on filter. This will help a lot. We will now have filters in our data, so it will help us check what we have in there. So the first thing, the first question we asked was if they gave consent, like you remember, if you agree or disagree. So let's check because we cannot include people who said no, who didn't give consent, but luckily nobody said no. So what we are going to do is simply remove this whole column. We don't need it. We can check here in the small arrow. Everyone agreed. There is no disagree. So we can just remove this. The next question is the gender. And if we click on the small arrow, we see that we have female, male, and prefer not to say. But SPSS cannot analyze letters, cannot analyze male or female. So what we are going to do is select all the data in this question. So from the line number 2 all the way down, select that. And then go to home here and click on find and select, replace. So what we are going to do is we are going to code female as 1. So we assume that if the data says 1, it's because that respondent is female. So for male, let's go and replace. Male will be 0. So we need to create a dummy variable where we have 1 and 0s. So 1 is female. Double check that you have the same numbers as I do. And finally, we are going to replace for prefer not to say. Prefer not to say, also 0. Because what we decided here, you can decide on how you will code. Like some people will say male is 1 or female is 0 or whatever. But I think female 1, it's fine. And whatever is not female will be 0. Prefer not to say or anything else. So the next thing is that we have the question here in Excel, but it will be nice to have it in the form of a variable. So maybe I will rename this to GEN, like gender, gen. It will be easier later when we go to SPSS. The next question, it's quite easy because now we only have numbers. If we check, if we click here in the arrow, we only have in between 19 and 43. So the age is great. We don't have to make anything else. And this worked nicely because when I did the question in Google Forms, I put a filter that it won't allow answers with anything that is not a number or decimals. So I didn't allow years old or 22.5 or something like that. So that really helps. When you design a survey, also do it like that. So let's just change the name. That's all we need because we don't need to make any adjustment. The number is great. That's all we need. And we change to age. Now we have a tricky variable because we asked for the year when they started their studies. So we have different years. I think 2017 is the oldest and 2025 the youngest. So, or the newest, more recent. What we are going to do, if we add 2022 into the database, is going to inflate everything because all the numbers are quite smaller, like age, 1, 0, and then from 1 to 10. So what we are going to do is we are going to open a new column next to this one. And what we are going to do is instead of getting the year 25 or whatever, we are going to do 2026 minus this year. In that sense, we will get how many years this person have been studying, and then we just copy paste. But pay attention to this next step. Do not forget this. You copy paste for everything, for the whole rows, but copy, select all the data, copy, and then click on here, paste as values. Because if you don't do that, when you do the next step, which is removing the original 2023, blah, blah, you will get an error. So don't forget to do that. Don't forget to copy as copy and paste as values. And we will call this like year, YEA. So we move to the next question. The next question is yes or no. Are you from Jönköping University? For here, we are going to do the same thing we did at the beginning. We select all the data for that question. We go to replace, and then we will replace yes with 1. Usually, that's how you code for yes or no. And then in the next one, no, 0. And if we click in the small arrow here, now we see that we change everything to zeros and ones, and we change the name of the variable, so I will call it uni. The next one is the level of studies, and it's tricky because we have bachelor, master, and PhD. If we check, we have very few PhDs, I think only 2. So what we are going to do is we are going to give 1 to bachelor, which is our base degree, because you are a bachelor student. So let's select all the data, and let's give 1 to bachelor 1, and let's give 0 to master and PhD. So this means that this variable means if it is 1, it's a bachelor student. If it is 0, it's either master or PhD. So basically a postgrad student. So it's only 2. The next question is, were you born in Sweden? Very easy to code. I will do it very quick. So I just go to, again, replace, and I will replace yes with 1. That means if you have 1, this person was born in Sweden. And if it's no, I will give 0. So no equals 0. Those are our, let me change the name of this. Maybe here I will call it like level, and here Sweden, like Sweden. These are our control variables. Everyone has control variables. So we are going, I like to give it a specific color, so I will give it the blue color. Now we move to the variables that matter. The AI usage is the dependent variable for all of us, the outcome for every group. So we all should be very careful with AI usage because this is the variable that we all will use. So we have AI1 and the question. I think we don't need to make any changes because we already have something in between 1 and 10, nothing more than that. I think this is also great. When I designed the question, I didn't allow anything else that is not 1 and 10, so that's why it's also very clean. You don't have 11s or anything like that. You don't have weird things. So I think the only thing we have to do is to change the name of the variable AI1, AI2, AI3, AI4, AI5. Only that, that's all you have to do. And let's change the color of this. Maybe I will give the color pink. And now we move to our independent variables. Each of you have different variables, like the first groups have the environmental sustainability awareness, then the technology literacy, and so on. So I think we also don't have to do anything. ESA1, ESA2, ESA3, ESA4, ESA5, and we are done. Technology literacy 1, technology literacy 2, technology literacy 3, technology literacy 4, and 5. And 5, here it is. But now pay attention, we have a tricky question here. We have an inverse coded question. Maybe you remember from lab 1, like sometimes we have some questions that they actually mean the opposite. For example, take this, let's read. I consider myself as a person who believes that external factors such as luck, fate, or the people or other people determine the outcomes of my actions. So that means if you answer high, you actually don't have locus of control. It's the opposite. This one is not inverse and it makes more sense. I consider myself a person who has control over my own actions and the outcomes of those choices. So you have high locus of control and you answer high. So when we have inverse questions like this, we need to do this fix. Open a new column next to this one and do 11 minus this number. Why 11? Because it's always the maximum you can have, which is 10 plus 1. Depending on your scale, for us, it's 11 because our maximum is 10. And don't forget, once that you copy and paste the formula, copy and then paste as values, because otherwise, when you remove this, you will get an error. Don't forget to change the name to log1. And then log2, we don't have to make any changes because it's not inverse coded. The same for log3. But log4, we have to do something. So I will do the same. I will open this I will do 11 minus this, and then I will copy everything, copy, paste as values, and then I will remove the other one, and I will name this log4. Log5, we have to do the same. I will try to do it very quick, 11 minus this, and then I will copy, paste everything. I don't forget to copy and paste as values, and then log5. And I remove the other log, so I don't have duplicate. And then skepticism is the other one that also is inverse coded. So I will do it right now so I don't forget. Skepticism 1, 11 minus this. I copy paste for everything, and then I copy and paste as values so I don't get the error. I remove the original one, and that's it. And I think after this, I think there are only 4 inverse coded in the whole database. I think everything else is very simple. You just change the name. Skepticism 2, Skepticism 3, Skepticism 4, Professional Aspiration 1, Pro 2, Pro 3, Pro 4, Pro 5. And that's it. We have cleaned our data, really. I will only add some colors. I will make it green. So we are done. We finish with the first video where we clean the data. It should look like this. If you open your file, I think data clean, it should look very similar to this one. So that's it for the first video.